So, you've just landed in beautiful Costa Rica, you're buzzing with excitement, ready for an amazing adventure. The absolute last thing you want is a giant, unexpected bill slammed down on the car rental counter. But you know what? For so many travelers, that is exactly what happens. So today, we are going to pull back the curtain on the Costa Rican car rental system so you can avoid all the traps and book with total confidence. Let's get right into it.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? You see those incredible $1 a day deals online, and you think, yes, I've hit the jackpot. But in Costa Rica, that's almost always a huge red flag that the real price is hiding somewhere in the fine print. When you actually get there, that so-called bargain can easily triple, and it's a trap that catches people all the time.
So the big question is, how do you actually sidestep this trap? Well, that's what we're here for. We're going to break down exactly why this happens and give you the tools you need to spot those misleading quotes, understand the real costs, and rent your car like you've been doing it for years.
The answer, almost every single time, comes down to just one word: insurance. You see, in Costa Rica, certain insurance isn't optional. It is required by law. And it's this mandatory cost that gets, well, let's say, conveniently forgotten in those tempting online ads. And that's what leads to that massive price shock at the counter.
Okay, so let's decode this thing. Insurance in Costa Rica isn't just one simple policy. It's actually a few different layers, and knowing what they are and what they do is the absolute key to not getting overcharged. First up is the big one, the absolute non-negotiable, third-party liability or TPL. This is required by Costa Rican law, period. The key thing you gotta understand is that TPL covers damage you might cause to other people or their property. It does not cover your rental car. Expect this to add about $10 to $25 a day to your bill, and there's just no way to opt out of it. Next in line is the Collision Damage Waiver, or CDW. Now this is what covers your rental car from damage or, theft. Now here's the tricky part. While it's technically optional, you can't just say, no thanks. The rental companies require you to be covered one way or another. So you're either going to buy their CDW for another 10 to 15 bucks a day, or you have to prove you have your own coverage, which we're going to talk about in just a second.
And of course, there's always an upgrade, right? The rental companies are definitely going to offer you what they call full or zero deductible coverage. This is a totally optional add-on that gets rid of the deductible you'd normally have to pay with a basic CDW. It also often covers things like tires and windshields, which are usually excluded. It's that premium total peace of mind option, and it can cost you an extra $15 to $25 a day.
All right, let's just quickly recap those three layers so it's crystal clear. TPL is mandatory and covers other people. CDW covers your rental car and is, for all practical purposes, required. And then full coverage is that optional, worry-free upgrade. That's the whole system right there. So what happens if you decide to decline the rental company's expensive CDW and use your own? Well, this is where this big number comes into play. You have to be prepared for a massive security deposit. They can place a hold of $2,500, sometimes even more, on your credit card. Now, it's not a charge, but it does freeze up that chunk of your available credit for your entire trip, so you have to plan. So, how can you avoid paying for the rental company's CDW? Well, for a lot of us, the answer is already sitting in our wallets. Many credit cards offer rental car insurance as a perk, and you can absolutely use it in Costa Rica to save some serious money. But, and this is a big but, you have to do your homework first. And here are the three crucial steps. You can't skip these. First, you absolutely must call your credit card company and get a letter from them that proves you have CDW coverage and that it's valid in Costa Rica. If you don't have this letter, they will force you to buy their insurance on the spot. Second, like we just said, expect that huge deposit hold. And third, you need to understand the process. If there's any damage, you pay the rental company out of pocket first, and then you file a claim with your credit card company to get reimbursed later.
Okay, this is where it all comes together. Now that you know all this, you can look at pretty much any online rental quote and instantly tell if it's the real deal or if it's hiding a bunch of costs.
Let's look at the difference. On the left, that's the trap. A super low $5 a day rate that conveniently forgets to mention insurance. That's the price that's going to explode when you get there. Now look at the right. This is what you're looking for. The total is higher, yes, but it's transparent. It shows you the base rate, the mandatory liability, and the CDW, all broken down. That's an honest quote. And look, this is the real-world result. This traveler tells the classic story, a bait and switch on their first trip that was full of stress and hidden fees. But on their second trip, they went with a company known for being transparent. And the result?
The price they were quoted online was the exact price they paid, down to the penny. No games, no stress. It just proves that choosing the right company makes all the difference in the world.
All right, we've wrestled the insurance beast to the ground. Now let's talk about the fun part, the vehicle itself. The big question in Costa Rica is almost always, do I need a standard car or do I really need a 4x4? Really, your itinerary is what decides your car. If you're sticking to the main paved highways, heading to popular spots like Arenal, especially during the dry season, a standard car is totally fine. But if you're traveling during the rainy season, or you're planning on heading to more remote areas with rough, unpaved roads like Monteverde or the Osa Peninsula, a 4x4 isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a really wise investment in your safety and your sanity.
So if you remember nothing else from all of this, please remember these 3 golden rules. 1. TPL, that liability insurance, is never optional and it's always extra. 2. If you want to use your credit card's coverage, you have to bring that proof letter. No letter, no deal. And 3. If a price online looks impossibly cheap, it is. Question it. It's hiding something. It really is that simple.
And that's really the final question here, isn't it? When you're renting a car in Costa Rica, you're not just paying for a machine to get you from point A to point B. You're deciding how much your peace of mind is worth. But now, you have the tools to make sure you're getting both. You can make sure your trip is all about the adventure and not about the bill. So book smart and travel well.